Hey there, YouTube. SkepticalRoot. This is not going to be a focused video any more than the last one was. A little bit rambly, but I want to clear a couple things off my plate that I've been thinking about but haven't really finished making, and I just haven't had time. The holidays and work has been a little more busy, so I haven't had a chance to even like sit down and like pre-plan some scripts or something like that. A couple of things I wanted to address that I'm just not going to have time to, either in that they'll still be relevant or that anybody will really care my opinion on them. Not that you're probably going to care at this point anyway. One thing I was going to do was a response video to Kristi Winter's burying the one-trick pony. It was annoying. It was irritating. I can't even sit through it. I got about 4.5 minutes into it, and the points that I wanted to address in it, the brief parts that I've watched, and where it really irritated me was at 44 seconds in, she starts talking about Bering's style. And granted, this is a 12-minute long video trying to talk about how he's a one-trick pony. His videos aren't 12 minutes long. His videos are, I'm sure everybody that follows me has heard of Bering or watched a Bering video. They're not that long. He does some longer hangouts, but his videos aren't that long. Where she starts off in this video talking about the straw man argument fallacy and or ad hominem fallacy in the video title. And what she's referring to is him making up a video title that's not the title of the video that he's responding to. Her examples are terrible. And it clearly shows that her critique of what he's doing with these video titles is nothing more than her own straw man or her own ad hominem. And I'll point out that straw man fallacy is and the ad hominem fallacy are for arguments, not for video titles. Okay? They're no more than straw man or ad hominems. They're no more straw man fallacies than titles of newspaper articles or news reporting on the internet. It doesn't need to be 100% accurate. It's designed to get your attention and tell you a little bit about what the topic is of what the video is or whatever. So, talking when he says Black Hitler says some really crazy shit again, that's not necessarily an ad hominem. It's not. He's not saying that this person's argument is wrong because they're dumb or because they're they once did something bad or something like that. That's the ad hominem fallacy, where the insult is the reason that the argument is wrong. Not that they're being insulted. An insult is different than an ad hominem fallacy. And the title of a video is not a straw man. I don't care what you say. It's not an argument. It is a title. Okay? I went into this like, oh, this will be interesting. Let's see what's going on here. And I couldn't get through much more of it. I don't know what bug has crawled up Kristi Winter's butt about Bering in particular. But her and the posse of I don't know. I don't want to give them a title. Some other people have called them things. I'll say that her posse of feminists, Garrett and Demotivator Opinion, who actually I've subscribed to. His vlogs are better than his topic videos, I think. And he seems to be clear and open-minded in some cases, and not as ideologically driven, but definitely ideologically leaning. I'll give him that. But I sit here and I clip through the video and blah, 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 blah. And of course, you know, she has to go, and it's just a lot of stupid. Yeah, Bering sends people to other people's videos so that they can, you know, wreck the person. And, no, he doesn't. She knows he doesn't. He says he doesn't. I've watched enough of his content to know that he doesn't say it. In fact, the disclaimer at the beginning of his videos, of course, says don't bother people. But he links the video for context. Kristi complains that he doesn't include any citations in his videos other than a link to the original video. And it's because he's making rational arguments countering their position. He's not TLDR, you know, TLDR, with his massive citations and things like that. It's rational argumentation and some funny humor about how silly some of the stuff is. He doesn't go after the people either. He goes after their arguments and says, well, here's why this sounds silly. But be that as it may, Bering has had his own problems. Besides the fact Kristi Winter doing a video about how stealing people's intellectual property. It's amazing that since Bering has had this problem with his channel, and if you don't know about it, search for Bering channel takedown or something like that on YouTube. There are literally 100 videos at least probably out there about people's opinions on this. I'll point out that copyright and trademark are different things. That even though Bering had used an image of Total Drama Island's bear, it's a recurring character but not a main character, is not necessarily a violation of copyright. And nobody here can sit here and tell me what is and is not a violation of copyright. Only courts can. The question is, what is likely to be upheld by courts? And people can certainly have their opinions on that. But anybody who's sitting there saying that, oh, this is definitely a violation of copyright, has never studied copyright law. Was it Leonard French? I think look up on YouTube Leonard French's channel. He is an actual copyright attorney. And has done plenty of videos on copyright law. Watch some of his videos about copyright, and you'll get a better understanding of how crazy some of this stuff is. That you can't say that even if he took it directly from their video, if he used it in a different context that was transformative enough, it's entirely possible that it would not have been a violation of copyright. I don't think Bering is willing to fight that fight, and I don't think he should, because I think the cost-benefit analysis at the end of the day is not there. Change your icon, change your logo, change the bear you use, move on, rock out. I mean, just be done with it. It's not. The creators of Total Drama Island, Fresh TV, or the owners of that, I should say, probably have more skin in the game than Bering does with regard to using that particular bear. When he was made aware that there was potential copyright issues, he remastered the bear to be something else. That was probably significantly transformative, but very similar and recognizable. He's done his own video explaining the thing. You can go over to his channel and watch it, because his channel is back up again after being down and then up and then down, and it's back up again. So go over and check that out if you want to see what his take on it was. I'm not going to sit here and say that he was in violation of the intellectual property of Total Drama Island. He did definitely and admittedly borrow, the image of a brown bear that happened to have come from them, and he didn't have a lot of concern for where that came from. All right, so anyway, that's my Bering take, my Kristi Winters take. Those were going to be two separate videos, but they kind of related because Kristi Winters was talking about bearing. And Christiosity, a friend of... No, Christiosity, who is another... in the loose conglomeration of feminists surrounding Kristi Winters, was using a Liechtenstein image that she changed after Kristi Winters had put up this video talking about how horrible bearing was. I understand she changed it. Where I think everybody on YouTube now is going through that has any even tangential association with bearing is going through their icons and avatars and seeing what is and is not okay to have up and use, including myself. I'm going to go through mine. I like the Android pirate. I found a rather obscure image on Google image search. I found this image used many times and since then in different places, making it far less obscure. So I'm going to go and recreate that as my own image, with my own take on it, of course, starting with probably a stock, Android image as a template that I'll recreate on my own, doing my own thing. And I guess that's it. No, you know what? I'm going to throw in here a last little Easter egg for anybody who's watching. The title of my channel, Skeptical Root, comes from all things root. But the main impetus, the idea that came upon me, that gave me the name Skeptical Root, was I have an Android phone. I tried one of these one-click root applications where you click it on my Galaxy Note 4, which was it's secured with the Knox encryption security scheme that Samsung runs on their devices. It's actually very good. Be that as it may, when you run these one-click things, they throw in a thing here and they say, like, root successful, root failed. The root was able to run, but it wasn't able to unlock the bootloader. So it said root skeptical, which I thought was funny. I also had my actual name is rather short. And I have only ever had one nickname ever, and this was in 8th grade. My softball coach gave me the nickname Root, which lasted for the entire one game that I played on that team before I quit because I didn't like the coach's attitude. But that was another story, and but that's kind of where it came from. So a combination of those things. So all things Root. Root also relates back to, I like outdoors. I like technology. I work in what you would consider a STEM field. The technology end of STEM field, actually, as it just so happens. And outdoor, the trees and the roots and, roots. And I actually have taken some decent levels of math, and I enjoy math, and so you got square roots thrown in there. I, at one point, actually at several points in my life, have considered buying the shirt that I avoid warranties, because I'm more likely to do that now than I used to be. But I have been known to disassemble things. Not always able to put them back together, but always curious, and I'm much better putting things back together now. So that whole hacking root level access in Linux, you should say the Unix kernel. So that all kind of ties together in case you've missed any of that stuff. You notice my little watermark down in the corner of the screen over here currently is a little tree guy. That's going to be changing as I update my channel icon to a different but similar Android pirate kind of guy. Because I like that. That's, you know, Android rooting, Android phone. Actually, we don't need to talk about phones. We'll talk about phones another day. So that's it. YouTube's algorithm now is all messed up from what I understand. So like, comment, share, subscribe. All that stuff as usual. I don't care if you do any of this stuff. I've only got like 25 or 26 subs. Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate you watching my videos. Let me know in the comments if you have any problems or have been unsubscribed. I haven't seen that yet, but then again, since the bug, as they referred to it, at least I've heard Philip DeFranco refer to it as him saying that YouTube said it was a bug, a glitch, or something like that. It's not supposed to be happening, but they've tried to change the algorithm to measure engagement, which is also causing people to be automatically unsubscribed to channels. I haven't noticed anything yet. I tend to watch most of my videos in my, we'll call my IRL account, because it goes through my work phone. My work phone has unlimited data on it, so I can YouTube pretty much anywhere I want to. But I make content and post content from my personal phone, which has all my Skeptical Root stuff on it, without unlimited data that I pay for. So I tend to watch a lot of stuff on my IRL login name and not my Skeptical Root. And I haven't noticed losing anybody yet. About once every month or so, I go through and I pull up on each monitor. I pull up my one YouTube account and my other YouTube account, and I go down the list and I say, okay, I compare. These are people I subscribe to on one channel and not the other one. This one, you know what? I subscribe to this one. I don't really. It's not really me, but they haven't posted in a while, so I don't care. So I won't go add them. But if I find discrepancies, then I go through and I put them back in. I tend to pick up more channels off of people on Twitter, on my Skeptical Root account, than on my IRL account. So I've got to find a way to go back and balance them. That's what I do. So this is getting really long and rambly. But that's it. So Barry and Kristi Winters, your little bonus there of where the Skeptical Root thing came from. And that's it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As I just said, thanks for watching. Goodbye and hello, as always.
If it doesn't,